Here's what's coming up on It's MKE. We continue our look at educators in the arts. We sit down with Chris Wazalek, Milwaukee High School of the Arts' current music director. We also talk to the school's principal, Mr. Barry Applewhite, who himself has been an arts educator for many, many years. That's all coming up right here on It's MKE.
It's MKE is brought to you by Milwaukee Public Television, a viewer-supported service of MATC, and by continued support from viewers like you.
Welcome to It's MKE, the show that features individuals, organizations, and venues that further the culture of our very diverse city. I'm your host, Warren Anderson. Teachers, or more appropriately, educators. For most people, they have had the most profound impact on their lives. I can recall several instances in my own arts education where I know there have been moments that have impacted who I've become today. In this episode of It's MKE, we journey to Milwaukee High School of the Arts, and we sit down with the school's current music director and principal.
Well, Warren, I'm currently the artistic director here at the Milwaukee High School of the Arts. I've been doing that for about the last 7 years now. Started here a little over a decade ago as the piano teacher right out of college. As the artistic director, that basically means I'm coordinating budgets for the different musicals and productions, coordinating the season calendar, working with all the art staff here to make sure that we have a successful production season. The school typically does about 30 productions a year. That includes dance concerts, visual art showcases, recitals, CW performances, theater pieces, music recitals, piano concerts, and a whole mess of other things that happen through there. It's been a lot of fun. Part of my job is also coordinating all of the auditions. Every child that comes to High School of the Arts, they have to pass an audition in one of the art areas here: creative writing, dance, theater, music, or visual art. And every fall, and then once in the spring, we have a round of auditions. This past year we had about 1,500 kids audition for the school, and there's only 300 seats available for freshmen, so it's nice to be in demand. As a piano teacher, right now I have about 15 students here at the school. We're one of the smallest departments in the school. We're in the piano room right now. They're all real pianos. This is the one grand piano in here. Everything else, they're acoustic pianos, so it gets a little noisy in here, but it's a lot of fun. The kids work hard, and I've been definitely enjoying it. I think it sort of goes to a lot of the things where if they're seeing stuff about they're learning in their other academic classes about history, science, English, I want them to sort of understand that music, arts, culture, all of that is kind of the basis for a lot of those social sciences. The only reason that you're reading all these great works of literature in English is because someone wrote them down, and you're learning about things in history because it was written down and it was something important happened there. I think it's important for the kids to understand what were kids their age listening to in the 1600s, as it were, or to understand that there was a time when the internet didn't exist, and there's a lot of music, a lot of culture and things that happened before that, and understanding how that translates and sort of kind of just getting in that course of why the world has turned out the way it has, and being able to kind of see all of that. So yeah, basically like classical music in a very brief nutshell kind of started out in Catholic Church, people doing Gregorian chant and things like that, and wanting to take, they were going, let's set music to verses from the Bible, it moved into the secular realm as people started realizing, oh, we can write songs about anything, and it's okay. It's was primarily a Northern European type of thing. It's spread out across the world from then, going through the different eras: Baroque and classical, Romantic, Impressionistic, Modern era, and then we have today. Today, classical music it's at an interesting impasse. There, somewhere in the 20s and 30s, when it was decided we really want to try all this atonal, sort of outside of the box music, they lost the audience, and the audience went, we like the Beatles. They sound there's more of a melody going on there, and some of the more atonal stuff that's being produced today. While there's still an audience for that, it becomes difficult. And I know, especially when we get towards the end of the year and I'm talking to the kids about 20th century, 21st century music and playing some John Cage stuff or some of the odder pieces, they're going, I don't understand what's going on, But I think then my job is to sort of explain, this is why, why are these composers writing in this style, which sounds completely foreign to what you would say here on the radio, but that trying to, we have we get into some good discussions about then what's the value, what is music, how can I define it, and it gets the kids thinking a lot, so it's a lot of fun. I think, well, naturally I feel that they're a very, very important part of education. Sometimes I feel there's a lot of emphasis, especially when we get into testing and things, of like, we need to make sure the kid knows reading and English and math and science, social, and those are all very, very important subjects, and I don't want to trade them for anything in the world, but in my feeling, the arts are the thing that sort of connect all of that together. Arts and culture, people are, why are we reading all these stories in English? Well, it's because someone went and created them and wrote them. Why did someone figure out geometry and all that? Because they saw beauty in the world, or they start making artwork based upon geometric principles and things. And I think just trying to make sure that kids understand, we're not just giving you these facts so that you become kind of this robot that can repeat back facts and figures and sort of figure stuff, but that we're doing it because we want you to become a creative person. We want you to sort of understand the world, the culture, history, all of that you live in. And that's a really important thing for me, trying to emphasize with my piano students, trying to make sure they understand this piece of music you're playing here, even though it was written by some dead guy 400 years ago, it's still significant today because I want you to learn about the history at the time of that piece 400 years ago, and how would you translate that into today's experience? And you start realizing, oh, people are having the same thoughts that I'm having today 400 years ago, and making that connection back. So.
Seeing just how much time and effort goes into students from these teachers shows just how vested the teachers actually are in the successful futures of Milwaukee's youth. In Mr. Wazalik's case, he ended up turning around and giving back to the very same school that helped further his art education. That's pretty remarkable. Well, since this show is about Milwaukee art history, why don't we test your knowledge? Here's the question. In what year did West Division become Milwaukee High School of the Arts? Was it 1975, 1984, or 1992? So again, what year did West Division become Milwaukee High School of the Arts? 1975, 1984, or 1992? We'll let you think about it, and we'll give you the answer later on in the show. For right now, let's get back to our arts educators. We sit down with Barry Applewhite, the principal at Milwaukee High School of the Arts.
It's about my 7th year here at Milwaukee High School of the Arts as the principal.
And before that?
Before that, I was the music curriculum specialist for Milwaukee Public Schools, and I did that for about 10 years.
Okay. And then you were here for a while?
And then I taught here for 2 or 3 years as the band director. And before that, I was band director at North Division High School. Being band director here at High School of the Arts was an awesome experience. We did some great things together, and I had some great kids. We used to call the band room the kitchen, and couldn't stand the heat, get out of the kitchen, because it was always so hot. But it was great. It was a great experience. I had a great experience in North Division High School as well as band director. We did the same thing. Coming over here as a band director, we did different things, but both experiences were great. I kind of missed being in that classroom every day, sweating with the kids, because band is different, it's pretty physical. I missed that a little bit, but as principal, the way I do my principalship is I'm there with the kids too. We go through the journey together. Hopefully we'll get to the destination sometime or another. But I'm there with them. Less paperwork as a band director. A lot of paperwork as a principal. Being in music, it pretty much helped me, it steered me toward college. As a person coming up in the projects in Milwaukee, you had to put your, you had to settle on something. And we actually had this guy, his name was Daniel Weatherspoon, who brought a whole bunch of us young males together and introduced us to drums. Now, he was not a drummer, but he told us that we could play drums. So we put together our first little drum corps, and we marched in parades. I saw some pictures of that a while ago. So that kind of like led me through high school, middle school and high school. And playing some sports as well, but the music is something that I always stayed with, and got me into college too, because I was able to focus on that in college, get a scholarship and things like that. Kept me grounded. There's a definite maturity that takes place with the students. You can tell. I mean, when they come in, they're young, they're green, not knowing much, and if they stay with the program for 4 years, you can see that maturity over the 4 years time. They become adults, in whatever art form they choose to focus on during that time, and understanding that we don't. It's not necessary that they go into that art form when they graduate from here. We want to give them the tools, and we want to give them the tools to be successful when they graduate from High School of the Arts. Giving a student an art form that they can rest on is probably one of the most important things in our educational, the way we deliver education these days. Yes, we want our students to be able to read effectively, do math, science, social studies, and things like that. But the way we look at the art form is offering students a different way to look at English and math and social studies and everything. So we try to integrate everything that we can with the art form. And when we are successful with doing that, students could actually see the practical uses of English or math. If it's English and I have a kid up in the choir singing, or if it's English or creative writing and I have that same piece presented in a band room, it makes that picture a reality for our students. It gives you the power to create. It gives you the power to imagine. Think about a piece of literature. Normally you would not have the pictures. So you need to have that imagination on how this is actually looking. This piece that I'm reading, what is this supposed to look like? What is it supposed to sound like? What is the author of this book trying to create in my mind? Can you imagine not being able to have that creation, that power, just reading words? It doesn't make a lot of sense. Graduation is going to be a given. They're going to do that. It's just a matter of what they get out of it, that 4-year journey. Because I always tell them this is just a journey. This is just an episode in your life right now, and you have 4 years to practice and practice what you're going to be able to do once you leave. And same thing with when I taught here. It's almost like we're not going to always be together. You're going to take on a different stage in life, just like I am. We go through stages of life. During this journey right here, what are you going to take out of it? When you cross that stage for graduation, are you ready for the world? Because the world is going to offer you many different things. Can you handle it? And are you going to be able to deal with some of the things that that's going to be tossed at you at the time? And are you able to compete with whatever you do? Even if you don't go to college, if you decide that you want to be work at McDonald's, I want you to be the best McDonald's person that there is. If you go into college, I want you to be the best college student. If you decide that you want to travel, I want you to be the best traveler. I want you to be able to like stand your ground with other people who are traveling, stuff like that. So it's the journey. What are you getting from this whole 4 years that you're here?
The arts and arts education is a subject that's very near and dear to my heart. Being an actor and musician myself has probably kept me out of my fair share of trouble. I've also had experiences that I wouldn't trade for anything in the world. So I hope in today's program we were able to share with you some small part of why the arts are important to so many of us here in Milwaukee. Now, I did tell you, I promised, I would give you the answer to our Milwaukee Arts History question. So, question is, in what year did West Division High School become Milwaukee High School of the Arts? Was it 1975, 1984, or 1992? Well, the answer is 1984. That's right. The Milwaukee Public School System decided there was a need for a school with an arts magnet. And in 1984, West Division became Milwaukee High School of the Arts. Well, we want to thank you guys for tuning in. If you want more information on Milwaukee High School of the Arts or the teachers you've seen in this program, feel free to check us out on Facebook. Go to facebook.com and search It's MKE. We thank you again for tuning in. I'm your host, Warren Anderson. We'll see you next time, right here on It's MKE.
This is terrible. That's terrible.